it's Rena with LYLO Crafts, and I am so excited. I have all new gingerbread projects to share with you today. So let's go ahead and jump on in. So the first thing that we're gonna do with this sweet little die, you can see that this was from a banner from Hobby Lobby, and it's pretty thick. So, I don't even think you need to back it to put it in your tree or to use it as decor around your home. And so it had a little bow here, like one of these little bows. And so all I've done is just removed it, and it left a little mark there, but don't worry about that. We're gonna cover that up. And so the first thing I'm gonna do is just ice it around the edges. And so I am using this Scribbles paint, and I do like this nozzle. It is a little bit smaller than the DollarTree nozzles. And before I'm gonna start, I always like to clean my nozzle off just so that I don't make any extra smear lines. I do enough of that on my own. Okay, so then I'm gonna turn this so I can see what I am doing. And that's really what I suggest. And all I'm doing is following this outside line right here. This little white line, I'm just following that with this paint. And I am trying to make the paint or apply as even pressure as possible. And don't worry, you can always go back over it. And as I'm working with this paint, you can see that an air bubble pops out and a blob comes out. If you keep a baby wipe handy and you wipe that off right away, you can remove it without any residue. So tell me, do you guys make gingerbread? And what are your favorite gingerbread crafts to make if you make gingerbreads? I'd love to know in the comments below. So now that we've got all the puffy paint on, we're gonna go ahead and add some glitter. I am using some holographic fine glitter that I purchased from Hobby Lobby, but you can use any glitter that you want, and I just shake, shake, shake very generously. So let's go ahead and tap off all of the glitter, put our gingerbread aside to dry, and then we're gonna pour that glitter back into our jar so we don't waste any. So now we get to create the little gingerbread girl's outfit, and I am using some gathered red lace here. I am going to fold back the edge so it has a finished seam, and I'm gonna just apply it with a little dab of hot glue, and I'm gonna make her dress 3 layers of lace. And now we get to move on to add adorable hair to her, and she's gonna have this curling ribbon that comes from Hobby Lobby, and I'm gonna use that as her hair. So I'm just gathering it up, and I am applying it with some hot glue to hold that in place. And to hold her fun hair back, she's got a beautiful red bow that I tied, and I placed just a little rhinestone flower in the center of it. And now I am creating a necklace for her that I want to coordinate with her hair bow. I've just hot glued some pieces of those rhinestones in place for her necklace. And now we are going to move on to her sweet little face and give her some fun eyelashes. And I'm doing this with a fine tip Sharpie marker. And now let's go ahead and add some highlights using a white Jelly Roll pen. And all I'm doing is coloring the whites of her eyes in and making lines underneath her eyelashes for those highlights. And to give her a little bit of rosy cheeks, I'm using some pink Stickles, which is glitter glue, and I'm just going over the little cheeks that she already has to give her a little sparkle and shine. And now we just need to add something to her hands so that we cover up the little holes from it being a banner. And what I'm going to do is add a snowflake onto this one side. And that snowflake came from the Dollar Tree. And I'm using some white embroidery floss just to go ahead and tie it onto her hand. And I wanted to make sure that that snowflake was glittery too, so I am utilizing some stickles here just to go over the snowflake itself. And last, all we need to do is attach that sweet tree, which is paper. I put pipe cleaners on the back to strengthen it, and I'm just going to hot glue that in place on her hand. And isn't she so adorable? And now that we've got her complete, I just wanted to share a few more ideas on how to decorate these. So here's a sweet little couple with their red and white striped candy cane outfits. Those are made of fabric. And on her hem of her dress, she has a beautiful elastic and ruffled trim. And then I also used some flat back cabochons to make that sweet little flower at the edge of her dress. And she's got a cute bow in her hair with a peppermint. She is holding a peppermint stick, which is on some tinsel. And in her other hand, she's got a sweet peppermint as well. Now he is got this cute scarf, and he has a hot cocoa mug in his hand, topped off with a gingerbread cookie. He has some little trim that I cut apart to make the buttons on him, and he's holding a snowflake also with a sweet little pom-pom. And what I think is the cutest part are his ear muffs. Those are made of thick yarn from Hobby Lobby and attached together with two pipe cleaners, a red and silver one, that are twisted together. All right, I think they're so cute. Now let's take a look at the next couple. And now this next couple is all decked out with all of their warm gear to go outside. You can see the boy's got his scarf on, and he has a coordinating hat that is also made from that same thick yarn from Hobby Lobby, just stacked together and glued. He's got a pipe cleaner that makes the brim of his hat and topped with some sweet candies as well. And we use those same candies on the scarf to match, as well as his buttons. And he's holding a fun peppermint stick also. And now let's take a closer look at the sweet girl. She is holding a peppermint candy, and that's on tinsel, and I made that peppermint. And she's got that same fun trim on her dress, and the candy canes on her scarf match the candy canes on her dress. And she's topped off with a sweet tinsel bow. These are adorable decor or ornaments, or can be on a tiered tray too. And next, we're going to be making some candy cane ornaments. And what I've got here is just a dish towel that I purchased at a thrift store. It's washed and clean, but I liked that weathered feel. I have drawn a candy cane template. And if you want me to email that to you, just email me your email address and ask for it, and I can send it to you as an attachment. So I'm placing it onto the dish towels that I have folded in 4. So I'm going to cut through all 4 layers at one time, and therefore be able to make 2 candy canes. I'm leaving about a 1/4 inch extra of the fabric around the edge of the pattern, and that is because I want to leave a place where I can cut it with pinking shears. Next, we're going to remove the pins from the pattern, and we would have 4 layers. So you need 2 for each candy cane that you're going to make. So let's separate the top 2 and work with those. This is a no-sew project, so we're going to work with some hot glue. And we're going to start at the tip of the candy cane, just lifting up the fabric and applying glue near the edge, not all the way to the edge, because we are going to cut those, like I said, with the little zigzag scissors. So go ahead and go around just the tip of the candy cane, and then we're going to stuff that part with fiber. And so now we are going to keep repeating that process of hot gluing sections and on both sides, and then stuffing the candy cane. And you want to make it nice and full so it is plump, and we're going to do that all the way down to the end. And now that we've got that all filled, what we're going to do is seal off the bottom. So again, applying the hot glue just on the end, leaving a little bit of space, and then pushing it together so it's nice and firmly closed. Now we're going to take those pinking shears or those zigzag shears, and we are going to cut around the very edge of the fabric, being careful not to cut all the way deep where we hot glued. So if you do cut too deep, it's no problem. Just go ahead and hot glue that back together. Now we're ready to go ahead and decorate it, and we are going to use red buttons, and I have tied the center part with red and white baker's twine so that it coordinates with our peppermint theme, and we're just going to hot glue each of those in place, and there are 5 big red buttons. And the last thing we need to do is add a hanger so we can hang these sweet candy cane ornaments on our tree. And I'm using some red and white baker's twine again. I am tying it in a knot on the bottom, and I'm going to attach it to the back with hot glue. And once we do that, I'm going to add one more of those sweet buttons to go ahead and hide that, as well as make an additional way to hold that in place. So I think they turned out so sweet. What do you think? Next up, we're going to make some gingerbread houses. Now, people have been asking me, what can they use instead of the DollarTree houses because they are sold out? So this is a perfect solution. It is one banner from Hobby Lobby, and it's $3.99 less 50% off. So it's $2 only, and it comes with 5 houses and 4 people. So it is such a great value. So today I'm going to show you 2 ways to utilize this banner for houses, for ornaments or tiered trays or decor, and then come back next week because I'm going to turn one into a 3-dimensional house too. And I'm going to be sharing some awesome gingerbread houses I made with Target items. Okay, so now we've gone ahead. We're taking one of the houses out. I've cut it off of the jute twine. And the first thing we've got to do is to open it up. So it is printed on the front and the back, and be very gentle as you ply apart the glue to open it all the way up. Now what we want to do is strengthen the house. So I'm taking a piece of some craft cardstock, and I'm going to trace over the outside of the house, and then I'm going to cut it out, making sure that I am cutting on the inside of the pencil line. And we do that so that it will not show through on the outside of the house. So now what we're going to do is take that piece that we just cut out, and we are going to sandwich it in between those 2 house pieces that are printed. So I'm just going to use regular glue to apply it both on the bottom and the top so it will stay together. So now we get to decorate, and the first thing that I am doing is taking this little red and white pom-pom trim, and I am putting it on the inside of the house. Now you can see that I had to pull it apart because I thought about putting this pom-pom trim after the fact. So if you're going to use pom-pom trim, don't glue it shut all the way. Go ahead and add that trim all the way around so that the edging is on the inside, and then go ahead and glue back the other side of the house. And now we're ready to decorate, and the first thing I want to do is to add these sweet little heart gems. They are from the Dollar Tree and from my stash, and I am going to attach them with hot glue. Now, even though they have adhesive on the back, I don't want to trust that, and I want to add some extra glue. So I'm going to go around and add all the hearts onto this house. And now we are ready to decorate with the fabric paint. I always try to clean the nozzle before I start, and I am using the Scribbles brand. And all I'm going to do is follow the white lines that are on the house with the fabric paint. And I'm just going to take my time as I do that. I'm going to fast forward through it so you don't have to watch so long. And now that you've got your house all iced, comes the fun part. This is where we get to add the glitter. And so what I'm doing is trying to be really careful so I don't bump the sides. And I'm putting it on a piece of paper in preparation for adding the glitter. But I noticed, oops, I missed a little heart gemmy right there, so I'm going to add that in now. And I've got my same holographic glitter out, and I'm just going to generously cover the entire thing and then tap off the excess. Now I am ready to accent that little scallop on the top, and what I'm going to do is use this white yarn and I'm going to hot glue it in place. And I also noticed that, you know what, it didn't quite cover the whole thing with just one layer. So I wove it around backwards, going the other direction. So there are 2 lines of yarn going across the full scallop. Now we're going to finish up the decorating on this house by applying these small little styrofoam balls to where those little red dots are on the house. And I'm going to do that by applying some of the fabric paint on there, the icing, and using that as the glue to hold the balls in place. So just one last step, which is to apply the wreath to the door. So I'm going to do that with some hot glue, and I've also glued that little peppermint down over the door as well. Isn't it adorable? And next, I wanted to show you that these houses can stand up on their own too. And I've got a gingerbread boy in the front, I've got a tree in the back, and I'm just using popsicle sticks that I have layered one on top of another and hot glued them together into the back of this so it can stand up all on its own. And next up, we're going to make some little wooden spoons. And these spoons I got from TEMU, but I know that they have some like this at Hobby Lobby. And the first thing we're going to do is pick out some Christmas sentiments and stamp those sentiments right onto the spoon. So now I'm going to use VersaFine ink to go ahead and stamp my sentiment right onto the spoon. So next up, we're going to take our fabric paints and we are going to put them on the inside of the spoon, and that's going to be like the frosting, right? That would go on hot chocolate, or that you would dip and stir in, or the white chocolate. Now, I want to say be careful to allow these to dry before you put your fingers on them. I didn't do that, so I got some smudges. Next up, we're going to add our sprinkles. So exciting. I am taking this little gingerbread guy and I am placing him right where I'd like him to go. I've got all my little doodads out. So I've got candy canes, I have peppermints, I have snowflakes, and I have sprinkles. And I'm going to use a mix of all these different items. And we're going to repeat that same process for all of the other spoons. And now we're ready to finish up our little spoon ornaments. We are going to add some red embroidery floss through the tiny hole, and that is to create the ornament hanger. We're going to go ahead and tie that in a knot, and then I'm going to hot glue the knot down on the back side so the knot will always stay in place and not be shown. Then we're going to add the little double bow on there, as well as the sweet little gingerbread girl cabochon. And now let's take a look at all the finished ones. We've got a peppermint bow with a little boy gingerbread. We've got gingerbread ribbon with another little boy gingerbread. We've got another peppermint one with a gingerbread cookie. We've even got a gingerbread button on top of the gingerbread ribbon. I think they are adorable. Our final project is zhuzhing up this little gingerbread sign from Hobby Lobby. And when I bought it, I did not realize that it said made with and love. So the first thing I had to do was to cover that up. So I fixed it up to say handmade with love. And then I moved on to that sweet little gingerbread girl, and I put some more fabric paint on her frosting, and I added some glitter. I put that bow in her hair. Then I added some polka dots onto the handles and a little bit of a scallop trim, also glittered up, and I even added some greenery too. Then I went to the other side and I gussied up the little boy too. And voila, a fixed up gingerbread sign. I have more new and exciting gingerbread projects coming up for next week. So please remember to click that subscribe button and the bell if you want to be notified when I post those videos. So thanks so much for spending time with me today. If you could leave me a happy face emoji or a gingerbread person in the comments, I would so appreciate it. And I hope you have an amazing day. Bye-bye.